I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul. Baby, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Our guest today, Mr. Sterling McKinley. Good morning, Sterling. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Sterling. I've been doing a website since I guess about 99 in one way or another.
Right.
I got questions for you.
Okay. Great.
Well, first of all, welcome to the show. What do you do? What is a guru like you? What does your day look like?
Right. That's a good question. So my thing is all about digital marketing and digital skill sets. And really what I do day to day is I teach people, companies, individuals how to use digital marketing, digital skill sets to improve their careers and their lives and their companies. So that's what I do. And it's really about that teaching. That's really my passion. You know, I believe digital marketing, technology, there's so much confusion out here. So one of my main jobs is to take complex topics like digital marketing, digital skill sets, and make them understandable and let people learn how to use them, to better their careers and their lives.
Okay, so what's a typical day? What's a typical client like these days?
Right. Well, like I said, it's mostly training and coaching. So, meeting, running a workshop, virtual, in person, meeting with small business owners, and finding out what are their struggles, what are the things that they're finding challenges with, and then teaching them how to use these tools and technology. So it really depends. And one of the things is in my workshops, there's always various levels of knowledge. The people that are experts, the people that are just starting out. So it's really level setting and making sure people understand how to use these technologies and use them to grow their companies.
So you mentioned training. There's a theory called innovation diffusion.
Okay.
So as the internet is coming on the scene,
right?
Like I'm into the news business, say newspapers in particular,
right?
And what I'm working on for grad school is I'm looking at the transition from newspapers to websites.
Mm-hmm.
And with this theory of innovation diffusion, different newspapers adjusted to the internet websites at different speeds.
Mm-hmm.
So where, say, the New York Times, they had to go from the newspaper to the website, so their website's got to look a certain way.
Right.
But say Small Town USA newspaper, Well, they're not going to have the same standard.
Right.
But at the end of the day, everybody has to make a plan. And one of the things this theory says is that, not everybody, most people didn't have a plan.
Right.
So here's the question. About 4 years ago,
Okay.
Google went from HTTP
Right.
to the secured website, HTTPS.
Right.
Totally changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
So where before, say your website was getting visitors from 190 countries.
Right.
Once they changed it to HTTPS, everything changed.
Right.
Did you have customers who struggled with that transition?
Yeah, I did. And that's one of the things I say with digital marketing. Digital marketing is changing every day. I mean, just this conversation we had, there's been some new invention, some new app, new website, some way new that Google search is working. So that's one of the challenging things about digital marketing, that it's always changing. Traditional mediums like TV, radio, and print, they move a little slower, but digital is changing so fast. So whether it's Google search changing, whether it's a new social media network, you have to be updating your skill set. And I always say it's so important now because, like it or not, things are not going back to the way they were. The phone book is gone. The new phone book is Google. And I always tell people that you have to become digital savvy. You have to keep deal with technology because it's becoming a requirement to compete in this economy. So if you're not digital, if not understanding it, if you don't have a website, an email address, you're going to fall behind. So one of the things I teach is not only having those digital skill sets, but having digital skill sets to make sure you're still relevant, because in technology and digital, it's always going to be changes. I think what people have to do is stay on top of those changes and do the things that make sense for the company.
Especially in light of costs. I mean, so the
Yes.
change from the HTTP to the secured site, I think that was essentially free. What was that about?
Yeah, well, basically, Google likes to provide the best experience possible to the customer. So, like any company, they want to keep you on their platform, on their channel per se. So, they are all about prioritizing the best experience for the customer. So, sites that load fast are going to be shown more. Sites that have relevant content that is updated regularly is going to be shown more. Why? Because they want to show sites that have the best experience. And also, the big thing now is secure. They're promoting websites more than secure. Why? Because you've been online. There's scammers out here. I was talking to somebody last night on Instagram, and it wasn't even them. And eventually I found out it wasn't them. So security is big. Whether it's protecting your credit card information, your security number, all that has to be secure. So if Google is going to send traffic to your website, they want to make sure there's a good experience, that the person coming to that website is not going to have the information stolen. So once again, all those things, security, a site that loads fast, a site that has good and relevant content, is offering the best experience. So once a company has a website that has all the things, Google says, okay, now we're going to give your site more traffic, because why? You're providing the best experience possible for our customers.
See, when I'm not going to lie, Sterling, the North Avenue, where are you from, Sterling?
I'm from Baltimore.
The North Avenue came out in me when I saw that security. I was like, oh, Google's got the stick up move.
Right.
Oh, here we go again. Everything was fine.
Right.
But I do get it that the scammers out there, but I'm not thinking scamming. I'm just thinking, load the website, load content.
Right.
So here's one thing I've learned. Google owns YouTube.
Yes.
Facebook owns Instagram.
You
and I could talk for at least 16 hours on that relationship alone.
Right.
One social media, I'll tell you, for example, I looked up Facebook, how many people
Okay.
on Facebook, and then I looked up how many people on Google. I
Right.
think Google, and in terms of people and in terms of money, is maybe 5, 6, 7 times bigger than Facebook.
Right.
So if I had to choose which one I would pay more attention to, it would be
Hmm.
Google.
Right. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I would say you want to be in a many platform as possible. I would say you want to dominate Google. And I mean by the first page of Google. So you should be on there on Google Maps. You should have a channel on YouTube. You should be on Facebook, LinkedIn. You want to be where your customers are. So I wouldn't necessarily say Google versus Facebook. Yeah, you want to be on both, but be where your customers are at. But once again, I say the most valuable piece of real estate in the world is not Wall Street, not Beverly Hills, not Hawaii, anywhere. It's being on the first page of Google. So that is a place that you want to be, for your brand and for your terms. Because I mean, millions and billions of people are coming there per day looking for companies, looking for your brand. And like you said, that also goes for YouTube. After Google, YouTube is the world's #2 social website. So once again, you have to be there. It's about where the visibility, where the attention is going. So yes, I always say diversify your digital presence. Try to be on as many platforms as possible that make sense for your brands. But platforms like Google or even Facebook, you want to be on those. Why? Because they have a lot of people that are looking on those platforms. So definitely, being found on Google, it's huge because people are coming to Google because they have a question and they want an answer to it. And it's a great opportunity for your business to show up on that. One thing that I tell small business owners is there's a tool called Google Maps. Google My Business. And Google My Business is the free profile you can have on Google Maps. So when somebody does a search on Google, let's say for florist near me or beautician near me, your website, your profile can pop up for free, high on Google. People can see a map location, click that, read reviews, get directions, or call you, come to your business. So there's really so many advantages and so many tools that Google offers. So I really say it is important to make sure you're using all the tools available. And not even that, a lot of these tools that Google has are free or low cost. So for a business owner, it makes sense to take advantage of these tools that will get you visibility, that are going to get your brand in front of, potentially millions of customers.
So I'm going to name drop. There's a lady, she was a former advertiser. She's really learned how to advertise herself. But early on, Be More News was her road to the web. Land of Kush. Her name is Naja Wright. And she's down on Utah Street right at MLK. They do the Vegan Soul Fest.
Right.
Sterling, she swore by a Google business page. Oh my God.
Yes.
Google ought to give her a free boost in her ranking. She turned me onto it. And I had one, but she just went on and on and on. I said, fine, let me go and tighten up my Google business page.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did. But it's just a little basic thing that we're so busy doing this and running like a chicken with our head cut off that we don't understand the significance of it. How often should you update your Google business page?
I would say treat it kind of like a mini website. The great thing about the business page, it has everything. You can put in your about information, your services, your hours, directions, phone number, email. But also it has a feature where you can update it with posts. So similar to how you update social media, something like Facebook, you can put posts and advertisement over there. You can also add videos and pictures. So I would say daily if you can, because it's really that important. Because once again, people typing in that search and your profile is going to show up to those customers. The cool thing too about your profile that it can track everything. So as a dashboard at the end of the month, you can see how many calls you had, how many searches led to foot traffic, how many pictures and videos were viewed. So I would say do that because once again, it's free. That's the thing. It's free, and I think as small business owners, we have to take advantage of free tools and services, and something that's free that can get you a lot of visibility on your business, and it's going to connect people to your business. So to see your profile, they may call you, then visit your store, visit your website. So it's something I say all business owners have to take advantage of because it's free. It's a way to show up high on Google, and it's going to drive traffic back to your business.
Sterling, earlier you mentioned scammers. Now you know us in Baltimore, we don't like people coming up to us at the corner asking
Right.
us for change.
Gas pump.
Step away from the vehicle. I saw a guy, he had a sign. He said, "I'm here because I'm not pretty enough to be a stripper." Okay, but the internet has people along those same lines.
Yes.
So I get an email. Lady from India. She's got to be from India, Pakistan, because I recognize the name, the spelling of the name, not slighting anybody. Actually, I got a web designer from Turkey, so I'm all for overseas. Now, I used to have a web designer from Brooklyn, New York, but then I met Fiverr and so long Brooklyn.
Right.
But this lady hits me from India, and she's swearing for $20 a video.
Right.
Now I got 6,600 videos, Sterling, on YouTube. She's not getting $20 a pop from me. But she swears she can put this search engine optimization magic of hers on it.
Right.
And my numbers will go through the roof. They send you this assessment.
Right.
Essentially saying your stuff sucks. Hire me for $20 a video.
Right.
And I've heard the song before. I've heard this. I've seen these people come up to my car before, Sterling. Help me out. What's a business owner to do? How do you know when you're getting scammed?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's the workshop now that Google has called Cybersecurity for Your Small Business. And, I would say cybersecurity is one of those things that nobody talks about. We're talking about the latest, iPhone, the latest app, the latest video, but nobody's talking about the most important there right now is cybersecurity. Protecting your information is so important. So that's something that we have to be aware of. So I have a few tips. The first one is email. You are going to get emails from everybody claiming they can change your life or give you money or whatever. So I would say with email, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not true. So if you get an email from somebody you don't recognize, I would say don't open it. If you do open it, make sure the address that's coming from is something that you recognize. Also, I would say if the email comes and has all these links on it, click here, don't click those links. You don't know what you're clicking on. You click one of those links, it could be install some type of a bot or software that sells you information. So be very careful about the emails that you open. Also, the new thing now is on your phone. You'll get random text messages on your phone saying, sign up for this. There's been a login on your Bank of America account. Click here to log into your password. You might not have an account on Bank of America. So scammers now are getting really creative. They're going to attack you on social media. They're going to try to get to your email box. They're also going to come to you on your cell phone. So you have to be careful. So once again, if you don't recognize the sender, I would say do not open it. And if the offer is too good to be true, if they're offering you the #1 spot on Google, nobody can guarantee that. Don't click on that. If they're saying, pay me this small fee and we'll do all this work. If they're saying, we want to give you $1 million, all you have to do is censor your information. Don't do it. So it's all about just being smart, slowing down, just thinking. But once again, if an email message comes from somebody you don't know, you don't recognize with random links, don't click on that. And once again, if the offer is too good to be true, remember it's probably not true.
Sterling, Dr. Taborn, one of our big time sponsors, he has STEM City USA. What is your understanding of the metaverse?
Right. Great question. Well, the metaverse, I think, is a place, a digital place, that can be used for various things where we can work, where we can live, we can play. So I would say I think technology is trying to mimic real life experiences. So this conversation right here, this could be in the metaverse. We could be in the metaverse meeting or talking, exchanging information. So I think now, if you think about it, we have all these things in different places, whether it's video, whether it's email, text. The metaverse is going to bring all of those things together. So we can go to one place and we can have all these different experiences, similar to how the internet, because backing up, we were talking about TV and print and radio. Okay, those are digital mediums. So the internet came along, and now all things are digital. I think the metaverse is the next evolution. We're adding on now one place we can go and have all the experience of all these different mediums or platforms coming together into one. So that's how I view the metaverse, a place where we can go, we can pull together all these different things that traditionally have been, scattered, but they're all now be one place and really offering a customized experience as well.
Where do you see the metaverse going?
Yeah, I think it could go a few ways. I think the first thing is education. That I think is the first thing. Something we learned through the pandemic, not being in person, a lot of things done virtually. And there were some things that worked good, some things that didn't work so good. But I think one thing that really worked good was learning. During that time, I was working for the DoD. I was doing social media and digital training for the DoD. And all that training that was in person became virtual. And it was amazing. At first, it was hard to do, but once I got the hang of it, it really worked. And through that teaching, we were able to reach even more and more students. So I think education is going to be disrupted. I think the old system of going to school for 4 years and doing whatever is going to be broken down. So I believe the metaverse is going to allow for education to be expanded. I also believe it's going to reduce the cost as well, because not being in person, not having physical textbooks, it's all going to make education, I think, more accessible.
So tell me about yourself, Sterling. Where'd you grow up?
Right. Well, I was born in Baltimore. I lived here for about 2 years or so. Then my parents moved to Hampton, Virginia. I grew up there, came back here for college, and I've been in kind of the DMV area ever since.
Do you claim a particular college or high school?
Oh,
You're
I went to
gonna get
State.
the Baltimore question.
I went to Morgan State.
You went to National Treasure. That's the new
Yes.
buzzword, National Treasure.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
You've got to be proud of Morgan, and I'm certainly sure that Morgan State, Dr. Wilson, Dr. David Wilson, they are proud of you. I'm back in school myself at Morgan, finishing
Okay.
up in the Morgan
Awesome.
Completion Program. HBCUs and the future
Yes.
as it relates to the metaverse. I mean, engineers, there's no way we
Right.
could do this show and not mention Dr.
Mhm.
Eugene Deloach.
Mhm.
God, Dr. Taborn, really
Right.
revered this guy's legacy. Are our HBCUs, you mentioned the education during the pandemic. We all had to
Right.
step up the game. This graduate program that I'm in, it's all virtual. We had one in class, other
Wow.
4 weeks totally virtual, which tells
Right.
me I could be in Hawaii, I could
Yes.
be in Argentina and
Right.
go to school online. My concern,
Mhm.
and here's the question, is how we are adapting. I mentioned that innovation, diffusion, how we are
Right.
adapting to this changing technology.
Mhm.
You got Stevenson, you have the traditionally non-black colleges who
Right.
had this online component. Harvard. I mean, if I do
Right.
anything online, who wouldn't want Harvard or
Mhm.
Georgetown? How are our HBCUs
Right.
adapting to this online platform?
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think historically, minority HBCUs have been behind for various reasons when it comes to technology. But I think now's the time to really start stepping our game up. Like I said before, I think too, to compete in this digital economy, you have to be digital. So whether you're a university, whether you're a bank, whatever, a business, whatever, you have to become digital. So I think it's all about this understanding the platform, the possibilities. And you said it, your graduate program is pretty much all virtual, and that allows you to reach more people in more places. And if we go back to the beginning of the internet, that's what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to break down walls. It was supposed to be different. But unfortunately, in many ways, the internet has recreated some of the barriers, the obstacles that face in the real world. So I think what the metaverse can do, training once again, is break down those walls. So you don't have to be here. We don't have to be in the same room. And I think what the metaverse can do also is really it can become a like you said, almost a hybrid type thing. So it's about connecting the real world and the virtual world to work together. And once again, I think that's going to lead to greater access. But I would say, talking about HBCUs, once again, I know Morgan do some things. Other colleges have it as well, but virtual learning is going to be huge. It is huge now. So I think in order to compete, to reach more students, to low cost, virtual education is something that we all have to do. And, being in school, going to Morgan, yes, it was great being on campus, but think about how much time that took. If I could just log in somewhere, I could learn something and go on about my day, that could save time as well. So I think, embracing the metaverse technology is going to make HBCUs is more competitive, because that is the way the world's going. The world is going digital. And I think as Black people, as entrepreneurs, the more that we use the metaverse technology, the better. And I'll say in closing that the metaverse technology, these are tools. A lot of people are scared about technology, the internet, the metaverse. They're going to take over the world. AI is going to take over everything. Yes, there are downsides to technology, like there are downsides to cars and everything. But at the end of the day, technology, these are tools used to make our lives better. So I think we have to be creative. We have to sit down and find a way to say, okay, how can we use this technology to achieve our ultimate goal? And that may vary based on what school you're talking about, but using technology as a tool to help you reach your ultimate goal.
Sterling, any final thoughts? Thank you for taking the time out. I'm so glad that Dr. Taborn, he made this big old post about you, and it certainly caught my attention. I was like, oh my God, this guy's Baltimore, Google. It was like no brainer.
Right.
I think we covered just about everything, especially that cybersecurity. I will certainly pay attention to that. But I got to tell you, before you go, with that cybersecurity,
right?
I am concerned about TikTok. TikTok is owned by China.
Right.
China and the U.S. are not the best of friends.
Right.
They've got 1.4 billion people.
Right.
And TikTok is on everybody's phone.
Right.
As an American,
right,
should we be concerned? You're the guru.
Right. Well, I would just say in general, you need to be very aware of what you share online. Everything you share online can be seen everywhere. It's being recorded. So personal information, personal pictures, videos, be careful of what you share online. And also, I would say be careful of what apps you download on your phone, because whether it's TikTok or whether it's another app, it's amazing. If you ever read the terms and conditions of some of these apps, they have access to your pictures, to your contacts and everything. So one thing I recommend using any app, once you install it, you can allow certain things. So you can turn off the ability for the app to view your pictures. You can turn off that ability for the app to track your location and so on. So if I could say, if you use TikTok or any app, if you have concerns, go into your privacy settings. Every app has that option where you can turn off and on what things they can access. But once again, be careful out there, because this information is accessible to anybody. What you have on your phone, what do you put on social media, it does matter. So I would say this across the board, be careful about what you do. And before you install and download an app, think about what things you want the app to do. Like myself, I don't like apps having my location. So I go into my settings and I say, okay, only when I'm using Google Maps, use my location. So when I'm not using Google Maps, they can't track my location. So I would say think about that. Just don't click an app, sign up right away. Go into the privacy settings and make sure you're choosing settings that can protect your information and your privacy.
Well, here's a follow-up to that. What about our children?
Right. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really good one. So, there are some apps out there and phones and carriers that have privacy for children as well. But I would say you would definitely.
Are our children smarter at this than we are?
Yes, they are, because they grew up with the technology. They were born. I would say they came out the womb with iPhones, with iPads. My son, 3 years old, he can use an iPad. He can do voice search. He does everything. So they know this stuff. So I think as parents, we have to be very careful. We have to monitor what they're doing, because think about it, phone now is so powerful. Now in the palm of your hand, you have the world right here. I turned 40 recently, but when I was coming, we didn't have this. We had you had a phone.
I got a rotary over there, man.
Exactly. But now this phone, you have access to the world. So once again, you have to be cautious of what your kids are watching and doing, because they be talking to anybody, watching anything. So you have to protect that. There's several apps out there that you can install on devices to monitor what they can do. For one, like my son loves watching YouTube. But we saw one day on YouTube, he's watching stuff he shouldn't have been watching. So now we download YouTube Kids, and YouTube Kids, you can monitor what channels your kids can access. So if you don't want them to watch wrestling, you can block wrestling content from their viewership. You can also track how long they've been watching YouTube, and you can turn that off on their iPads as well. So
how long before your 4-year-old does a Lamar Jackson on you and knows how to get around this block from you?
Yeah, probably not long. But once again, that's why you have to stay on top of your kids, because kids are smart. They can figure things out. But the old school, just taking the device away. So with my son, we're realizing that less and less time on your iPad, on TV, on YouTube, actually doing things, reading books, running outside, playing. So
because
while I think technology is great, you have to limit how much people are doing that, because it can become your life. So I say, yes, you can have that time to be on your iPad, but you also need to go outside. You also need to read books and do things. So I would say just don't, because some kids they have their tablet and that's what they do all day. You have to break that time up.
Punishment for us was you can't go outside.
Right.
Punishment today is you got to go outside without your phone.
No iPad. Exactly.
Sterling, thank you so much for joining us, man. How can people find you if they want to attend one of your classes or workshops?
Right. The best way, if you're on LinkedIn and you just search for Sterling McKinley, you can find my profile there. It has links to my classes and to my workshops as well.
We're very proud of you, and thank you for never forgetting Baltimore and national treasure, Sterling McKinley. It's truly been an honor. And again, big ups to Dr. Tyrone Tabor in STEM City, USA.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Good morning, world.
All right.
Yes, sir.